So welcome, everybody. So good to have you here. Yes. This is a meeting about inclusivity. Everything is included. Nothing is left out. Because everything is already it. Doesn't matter what it is. It's always this, however it's appearing, whatever form or shape, color. This doesn't go anywhere. It's not coming or going, or it's always here as this, whatever is happening. So that's what's meant by effortless and obvious. Effortless and obvious means it's just what's happening. So effort is for me, but just what's happening is effortless. And obvious, the obvious part of effortless and obvious means just what's obviously right here now. It's like so obvious that we miss it. It's just the computer screen sitting on the chair, your body sitting on the chair. It's just literally what's happening. Exactly this is it already. And so that's why there's nothing to do, because everything is already it. But doing can happen, because doing is this too. So there's no escape. The thing is, whatever is speaking isn't you speaking it. So this isn't Michael. There's no one here doing the speaking right now. It's just what's happening. Let me let Peter and Joanna. There we go. So here, that's what was the beauty of this message, was the all inclusivity of it, that it just didn't leave anything out, that everything was already it. That, to me, it was stunning. You know, the cramp in my leg at 2 a.m. that wakes me up from sleep. Yes, that's this. And there's no getting closer to this, and there's no getting farther away from this, because there's just this. Everything is it. Everything is this. See, the thing that seems to be seeking that's mistaken for me isn't actually me. That thing that feels like a me, that seeking, is this too, appearing as a feeling of separation, trying to get back to wholeness. So not only does the seeking not belong to you, nothing belongs to you, because there's nothing separate or outside of this that could own it. We can say that what is this never moves. The illusion of movement is created by thought. Thought tells me something's happened. But thoughts didn't tell anybody something happened, because there's no one in there. There's just everything. So feeling separate is this, and realizing there is no me, and there never was. You couldn't be a limitation if you tried. All limitations are imagined, because there's only the unlimited. appearing, can appear limited, but that's not its true nature. The eternal is not limited. It's not anything. You can't say what it is. It's, one attempt to describe it is equally as good and equally as futile as another. And this is an open meeting, so I've done a lot of talking, so feel free to unmute and jump in, please.
What stood out, or what I liked about what you said, was that that there isn't any getting closer or further away, and I just have this sense that there is a widespread myth that we need to get closer and then hold it, and I mean, there's a constant struggle with getting closer.
Yeah, it can be very subtle. Even other so-called non-duality teachings, if you listen carefully, it's not saying exactly what Nkosi and I are sharing at these meetings, because there was never a you in the first place. That's it. That's the whole message. And now the me it feels like there's a me there, right? Some call it an energetic contraction. But that's this too. So that's perfectly okay. It's not a problem.
I have a question. So before there was, we'll call it an energetic contraction in me, and I meditated for about 15 seconds, and it was not contracted anymore. So, question. Did that, since there's no me, based on that, that just happened, and that, well, there's no me, so it just happened that there was a contraction here, and then there was an uncontraction. I think, since I think there's a me, that I said, well, I will meditate and to uncontract me.
Yeah.
So it's just going to happen.
Well,
it's
not going. It's happening.
Okay.
This is
Yeah,
this
okay.
is the happening. There's just this happening right now. This is all that's. You could say anything's happening. It's just this right now, but you can't. It's not stopping long enough to become anything. It's just what's appearing. So the sense, Dawn, that you felt contracted, in the sense that you meditated for 15 seconds, and in the sense that it uncontracted, that's all this.
If that had gone on and I didn't say to myself, the me, I'll meditate. Well, we don't know. Would that have happened anyway, or would that have not meditated and it would have stayed as a contraction?
There's just what happens. There's just what's happening.
The fallacy in that question was that you said, if I hadn't said to myself, you didn't say anything to yourself. Awareness saw the thought, became aware of the thought, and then in action, awareness became aware of, and the body did an action. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So yeah, just go. So there's nothing I can do to improve if there's no me.
Yeah.
An improvement will either happen or it won't,
Yeah,
based on whatever is here.
yeah, based on nothing, exactly.
But I'm going to take that one step further. There's nothing to be improved, right? Improvement
Yeah.
is a
Nice.
right. That's the thought. That's the awareness of the thought. But if you're if you are really in the awareness state, just allowing this to be and sort of in the observer state, then the judgment is just yet another thought, like another cloud in the sky. Eckhart Tolle actually talks about clouds in the sky, right? They're just, everything that happens is just a cloud floating through the sky.
Joe,
And
did you say, I'm sorry, did you say stay in the observer state?
Yeah, I did. That was a weird way to put it, but yeah. I was trying to get to that concept that Eckhart talks about, which I haven't thought about in a very long time, actually. Now.
I think Joe's a Zoom bomber. We don't talk about aware states here. We're beyond that. No,
No, I know.
I'm just, yeah.
I'm trying to, sometimes we gotta get to the point where like we're giving a little bit of help.
Help,
Yeah.
my God. Help, hope.
Yeah, well, that's part of the dialogue that we have going on here. Usually Alan is very strong about that. He will be, maybe later, maybe he even perks up.
Well, now you mentioned it.
All right.
So,
Come on, Alan, talk about, we all want to feel better.
okay, here we go. Everybody take a deep breath. So my comment is, Don, that if there is a me there that is wanting to make the moment feel better, then that's this too. We can debate where it came from or how it came about, but that's this too. So if you feel like you want to meditate and that's going to make you feel better, we could say that was already happening. There's no one there for that to happen to, or we can say there was a me that did it. But in either case, it's all this.
You could say it's never not this.
So let's feel good.
So saying it's all this doesn't explain anything, right? It's just all this.
Yes,
There could be me's choosing, getting better or not getting better, or doing this or doing that. That's all included because that's all this. But if I get Alan right, this doesn't preclude me choosing because that's also this. So is that why everything is beautiful? Because it sounds pretty nice to me. It seems to be pretty inclusive over here. So, see, I've been, in my practice here, I've been trying to, deny me. That's my interpretation of the practice in the non-duality. Deny me, there's no me, deny me, deny me. Doesn't work so well.
Yeah, right, because we'll listen to the wording, Don. The me is trying to deny the me.
Yeah, and that's also this. So that's also beautiful.
So if it's all beautiful, Don, what needs to be improved?
Mm.
How can you improve it's all beautiful? It
Well,
has.
Peter, let's take it, because that's a good question, right? That's a really good question. So here's how. It is all beautiful. And, if an extension cord goes out and you need to splice it and reattach it and fix it, improve it, that can happen too. So see, the me, it's so funny because the me takes this either or position. It says, okay, I'm nothing, or it says, oh, okay, I'm everything. And that's not what this message is saying. It's saying there's just everything.
Yes, I think where I'm coming from also, the bigger picture is kind of tied in with the wanting to feel better. If so if I have like this goal or ambition or desire to feel good because I want to feel good and I don't want to feel bad,
Yeah.
then there is this ongoing movement or pull towards not being with what is, but striving for something that I imagine is not, or is not, there's something for me liberating and relaxing when I can be with what is without me labeling it good or bad or beautiful or not beautiful. When I can, this to me is neither, this to me is just this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to quote Michael's old vocabulary. It's obvious. And what else, Michael?
Effortless and obvious.
It's effortless and obvious. Thank you. That kind of does it for me. I mean, then I'm just resting in this,
So what I would say, Peter, which is, it's beautiful what you said. So that's a position, so to speak, that works wonderfully for you. And Don may have a position that works wonderfully for him. And I have a position where it involves a lot of meditation and stuff like that. And that works wonderfully for me. So for us, I don't want to speak for Don, but for me, striving actually, well, it's this too, of course. So striving is part of this. And so it's a positive for me. Just like for you, not striving makes you feel good or restful or whatever word you use. It's wonderful. I think it's amazing that you have found a process or a way that you interpret that allows you to feel freedom or whatever the word is. So, but I think because you feel that way, it's very important to also recognize, I'm not saying you said it this way, but I think that for other people, striving may make them feel exactly how you feel. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's a good, it's a good point. And somehow I also, come in here, there is, Michael gives the monologue, there is this notion that there is no me, or the me is imagined. And so if there is no me, or the me is imagined, it just doesn't jive so well to keep wanting to improve something, but it doesn't have to jive, I understand it doesn't have to be logical.
Well, and also there is no me there, or there is a me is this. So if you're wanting to improve the me, that's this too. You know what I'm saying? So we can talk about the me or the not me. But that's both of that is this.
Right, maybe more simply put, how do you want to improve something that doesn't really exist or that is imagined?
Because we can say that whatever the me is saying, we don't know if it's imagined or not imagined. We can say it is, that's a position. But the bottom line is that everything is this already. So everything comes back to the same point. It's just, if everything is this, then everything works, whether you're striving or not striving, or there's a me or there's not a me. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Got it. Even though some would say there is nothing to get, but I hear you.
No, and it's perfect.
Again, I just want to say that the me will hear it that way, but it is a paradox, because on the one hand, there can, as Alan's saying, there can be meditating or playing tennis or the body does, a million things. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with, doing maintenance around the house, cleaning, improving, meditating, going to a psychologist, whatever. That's all fine. The message here, though, it's just there's no you in there doing any of this, because there's nothing separate from all that is to do that.
So I have a question, Michael, because that's a good angle. I mean, that brings up something now. So when you say because there isn't a you there, but if everything is this, right? Can't there be a you there that's also this?
Well, that sounds good in theory, Alan, but that's actually in practice, the me is God. The me there, it's not into sharing. Go ahead, Dan.
Oh, no, I was just thinking that, I mean, Alan's question, ultimately, these questions really just become kind of philosophical conundrums. It's like, there's these famous, the guy who says, everything I say is a lie. Well, is he lying or is he telling the truth, right? There's no, it doesn't go anywhere. And basically, I mean, I just would say when we try to analyze this, get a position logically, philosophically, it doesn't really go anywhere. So, and you could say whatever you want, because it really is all, and whatever you say is the same thing. Because when we're using these words, it's it's just a game. Yeah. But still, I mean, Don was talking about a contraction, being there and then not being there, which is kind of another way of talking what Peter was saying about, this questioning of, which is a kind of a contraction, it's, well, as Peter was saying, trying to feel better, this effort to try to feel better. And even this effort to, wait, can I see that it doesn't matter, that feeling better or not feeling better is the same thing? And why can't I see that? There's this. So what I'm trying to say now is that there's no way to put into words what this thing is, this thing that we're pointing to, that in a sense, quote unquote, resolves all of these questions and resolves the contraction, but it doesn't stop the story. That's the thing. It doesn't stop, the house from needing to be cleaned and this human experience of wanting to have a better a better experience. That does seem to be appearing. But I think what we're pointing to is that doesn't really have anything to do with anything, because what's here is not any of those stories. There's something here that isn't really captured in all these, you know, these words, or the logical, you know, arguments. It's just this. Yeah, includes everything. It isn't going anywhere. Even if something appears that wants to go somewhere. Yeah, anyway. So I'm a little interested though in, Don, you were talking about there was a contraction and then you did a meditation and the contraction was gone. I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to, what you're sharing with that, but it seemed to be, you know, like a profound thing. But the question is still here, right? So I don't know, where's the contraction? I'm just asking Don if you want to comment on it. Where's that contraction that was there and then was gone? Where is it now?
I would say the contraction was, say, in the head, in the chest,
Uh-huh.
as a physical sensation.
Yeah.
And then after the meditation, well, there was no contraction. There was just an openness, an uncontracted state.
Right. So you're aware of walking around as Dawn with feeling free of this contraction.
Yeah.
Since that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so what I would want to point to is that actually isn't the contraction that we're talking about. There was a feeling, and now there's another feeling that's more expanded. It's more, you know, free. Yeah. But there's still a sense of wanting to move to a different state, moving, you know, of
Right.
or wanting to get something from this,
Right.
get an answer or get,
Right.
yeah, get somewhere.
Right. With that's this trying to get an answer. That's this, all this trying to get an answer, all this trying to get better.
Yeah, the appearance of this, of a story of trying to get better, or a sense of trying to get better. Yeah.
But
And
why
then,
does
of
it have
course,
to be?
go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, Alan, you go ahead.
I'm just curious, why does it have to be the appearance of a story? Why can't it just be this?
Or both.
That's fine, but why does it, but you had stated, I think you said it was the appearance of a story. But
Well, yeah, because this,
This doesn't have a story to it. It's just
Yeah.
this. And anything that comes later is a story about it.
No.
No.
Something can't come later. This is everything, so nothing can come later.
No, this is perfectly fine as a story to come later too. That's this too. You can't avoid it. Everything is this.
Yeah.
The appearance of a story or the non-appearance of a story is a story.
This is an instant. This is a direct instant incidence, and when we're starting to talk about it, then it's a story. That's
No.
story.
That's the separation again. There's the instant, and then there's this other thing that happens. That's dual. It's all the instant. Everything is the instant. Everything, as Michael started, it's all inclusive. Everything.
So there's
that's the hard part to get, I think.
No,
for
no,
me.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so there's a discussion going on here now. Something is at stake, but is there anything that to come at the other side of this discussion?
Sure.
Uh-huh.
It'll be the instant as it is now. It started with the instant. It's instant by instant by instant that we're calling, oh, just a conversation that doesn't mean anything, but it's still the instant, the instant, the instant. So it's all beautiful. And at the end, we'll still be in an instant and it'll be beautiful. No separation. Can't separate.
Yes, which is this. That's why we use the word, the famous word, this. It's this right here, this, the same instant, the same story or non-story. So,
Right.
yeah, but there is this, you know, the me business is just about this feeling that, well, there's something I can get to. There's another thing, another instant, another this, yeah. Go
Right,
ahead.
but that's still an instant. The me looking for something better is the instant.
Yeah.
That is the instant. So it's not, well, me
Right.
looking for this and this, which we then sort of say, oh, that's not right. Or it seems to be in non-dual groups. That's not right. No, that's perfectly right. That's the instant.
Or you can say
Interesting how
me
this
looking for,
notion- It's interesting how this notion of something not being right comes in. That's kind of where the discussion is, that something is right and something is not, whereas this is neither right nor not right. It's just this. And if there is a story about this, it's also this. It's just a story about this that is included in this. It's fairly simple in the end.
yeah, but if you want to be right or wrong, that's this too. It never goes away. In other words, we could say anything. We can postulate any theory right now. We can talk about what appears to be happening, what not appears to be happening. We can talk about stories and non-stories. We can talk about a me or a not me. We can talk about striving and not striving. It's all a position. Silence is, from what I can gather, silence is the only non-position that exists. So even if Don is, I'm not saying he is, but even if Don or I'm trying to be right or wrong, it doesn't matter. That's this too. So this, when you say that this doesn't have a right or wrong, I'm not saying you can't be right. I'm just saying that's just a position. We don't know. We can say that it sounds good, but we can also say that this doesn't have to have a right or wrong either, right?
There's already no you to be right or wrong already.
It's a great topic. It really is.
But I'm saying right and wrong is imagined. There's nobody in there. Those are just a thought. I'm right is a thought and I'm wrong is a thought. I'm ashamed is a thought and I'm confident is a thought. Those are all thoughts. You're not a thought. Thoughts come and go. You don't. This doesn't go anywhere. This is timeless.
So we can say that this is also non-judgmental. So therefore, whatever people say is just perfect.
Exactly. Exactly. It's all of it. You can't, it's. So I was talking to Dan on the phone the other day, and I was expressing to him that what seemed to happen here was there came a point, and I heard Andreas Mueller say the same thing. He said it was my experience too. The me just became intolerable, like painful, like burning, like I couldn't understand why I was in so much pain every time a story was believed, or I felt like I was a victim. And so I just sort of, I mean, this is a story, but I want to say it was the feeling was of giving up and not knowing, sort of like when you're lost, when you're really lost and you don't know where you are. It's
No, you can't be lost though. So if somebody was in pain and then they get this message or whatever,
But-
now they're free, but they were never in pain in the first place. So
Right.
a teacher who says, I was in pain, now I'm free. Well, no, there's no you there anyway. So you can't judge a teacher by what they say. If they talk about freedom, it's really hard to, okay.
Well, this isn't about a teacher. This was about what happened here directly. Because I've talked about that, going to other teachers, Muji, and nothing wrong with that. If that's what resonates, it's beautiful. It's really great. But here, it was so painful to try and figure out the right thing to do all the time that I finally I said, I don't know what to do. That was sort of my first sort of like, well, let me see because the me will have a sense that it will all fall apart. You need me, says me. Don't think you're going to have a life without me. Big problems. But I was in so much pain,
Yeah.
existential pain, that I just didn't know to turn left or right. I just truly didn't know anymore. And I was a guy that used to think he knew a lot. I mean, I've written 10 books, so I there clearly was a lot I thought I knew, but it turns out in the end, there wasn't a me here. The me was imagined that thought it knew all that. Nkosi, welcome.
Hi, Michael. Hi, everyone.
Oh, see.
Nkosi, would you be kind enough to speak on God doesn't know you because there's only God?
I was just reading that post just now. Yeah, there's nobody here. There's just God. There's just this. You can call it whatever. No, it's wordless. It's beyond any names. Doesn't mind the names, doesn't mind the words, because it's everything. What seems to be happening is an expression of that which can never be seen, can never be known. So it's all there is. There is nothing outside of it. There's nothing outside of all there is to know all there is. There's just all there is. So everything is okay. Everything is beautiful because everything is an expression of this. So the me is already not there to know this or become this and become this. There's just this totality, everything. So anything may arise here, any question may arise, any idea may arise, any suggestion may arise. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to this because there's just this. So it may appear as if there's somebody here who knows, but that's just an imagination that may seem to appear in this as well. It's just also an expression of this, of everything. So really, there are no words here. There are no words. Words may seem to appear, but there is no word that can actually describe what this is. This is unknowable. And what seems to be the knower is already the unknown. It can never be known. And this right here is not trying to convince anybody. You know, is this just talking happening? There may be a listening happening. Confusion may seem to arise here. Misunderstanding may seem to arise, but it's still an expression of everything. Something saying, I don't get it, may seem to appear as well. It's still an expression of everything. It's got nothing to do with the imaginary separate self, because that one does not exist. It never existed. Even in the midst of something trying to know this, there's already nothing outside of this to know this. It's just this expressing as that. Or can say God, a duck, mouse, chicken, doesn't matter. And this doesn't mind the names. It doesn't know you as real. It's somehow it knows itself. Knowing itself is knowing nothing. Is not knowing at all. It's just it is already indescribable. Nobody can describe it. And it doesn't require any efforts. No effort is required here. Because it doesn't make any efforts to be what it is. It's already effortless. Even in the midst of something trying to make an effort, it's already effortless and obvious. That which seems to be trying to know it, to make an effort, can only be it, also appearing as that. So there's no separation. So it may happen to dream, you know, itself as an individual who's on the journey. But that's not to say that there's a real individual or separate self. It's also what is this God appearing as that. There is no real separate somebody who's on the journey, who's trying to know this or get it. It's just an expression of everything already. So this doesn't mind. Anything may arise here. Somebody may swear, may decide to quit the meeting, somebody may ask a question, you know, it's still an expression of everything. There's nothing outside of this. To ask questions, to quit, to judge, to play as devil's advocates. There's, there's no separation. Everything's this and everything is beautiful, just the way it is. So there's nowhere to get to. There's nothing to be done. There's no journey already. It's just this, appearing as everything. So there is no escape. If something is asking a question, it's still this, appearing as that. If somebody is wondering, still disappearing as that. If something says, oh, I don't get it, it's still this, appearing as that. If something says, now I get it, I'm about to get it, it's still disappearing as that. So this doesn't mind. It really doesn't mind. Because there's only it. Yeah, that's what's coming up here.
Any last comments or questions before we close out this evening?
Yeah, I'll be brave and share something. It's scary to share it, but I will. It seems like, and I'm a part of this meeting, so I can't be excluded, but I feel we just go around in circles. And it almost makes me dizzy sometimes to hear the talking that's going on. And yet I'm part of that. I'm not even really talking, and sometimes I do talk, but the me or the not me and the this and the that and the this and the that, it just seems to spin almost. And I guess I'm just confessing where I'm at, and that's okay too. But I thought I'd even say that in front of Nkosi, but I sometimes get that from these meetings before Nkosi arrives. And I'm not asking a question. I'm just reporting what I'm feeling, and there's a sense of dizziness about it. So can you help me get clear, Nkosi?
Yeah, everything is already this. Is already an expression of this. Yeah. Any suggestion, any opinion, any direction that what seems to be the me may seem to take is already all there is. There's no escape. There's no you already to know anything. There's no you already to go circles or go around dizzy. There's nobody there. It's just an expression of everything, because there's only everything. There's nothing outside of everything. It's all there is. So the me who's on the journey doesn't exist already. And there's no me who's on the journey. There's just this appearing also as a journey, appearing as somebody who's on the journey. So what appears as well to be a separate self can only be an imagination. There's no real separate self. There's just totality, appearing as everything. So there's nowhere to go, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to become anything here. There's just this, what is.
Yeah, I guess it's like if you don't feel well, like I haven't been feeling well, like sore throat and aches and pains, and so I take some medicine to settle that down, and that's just so same way. If I feel like I'm a bit frustrated with what the conversation is, I can just opt out. Just like I take a tablet when I'm not feeling good in my body, I can just switch off and go somewhere else.
Yeah, anything may arise.
Mm.
Anything may arise. You may feel like going somewhere, under the tree or anything. It doesn't matter. It's still an expression of everything. There's no real you who's really doing anything already. The doer is already not there. It's just everything expressing itself. So everything is okay. Everything is beautiful. There is already no good and bad here. There's just this. What's happening? And what's happening is not personal. It's got nothing to do with the separate individual, because there's no real separate individual. There's just totality appearing as everything. So everything is okay. No matter what shape or form it may appear to be, it's just this unknowable, indescribable, and ungraspable.
And it can appear, Faith, as a body feeling ill or sick. Like Nkosi, is your body a little bit under the weather right now? The bodies get sick, but it's not proof that there's somebody inside the body. It's just what's happening.
But that doesn't preclude us from, if we feel that way, it doesn't preclude us from not doing something different.
No, but it won't be you doing it. There's no you there already. So
Right.
actions may happen, medicine may be taken.
Yeah.
It's all this.
Yeah.
Yeah. A prayer may be made, it's all just this. May pray for yourself, or get a medication, wrap your arm, your whatever, where you're feeling pain. It's all just this. That's not to say there will be no action. Action may seem to happen, but there's nobody who's doing it. There's no
Mm.
doer already. This is total freedom for nobody.
Thank you to each and every one of you for coming. We so appreciate and love all of you. Nkosi, brother, no words. Good night, everybody.
Nice.
Night.
Everybody.
Good
Thanks,
night.
Michael.